All right, our next speaker is Dr. Naoto Hashimoto. Dr. Naoto has been very successful helping chiropractors with his program Trackstat. If you like data, you're going to love Trackstat. They've done a really interesting job putting together the data you need so you can create automations to follow up. Enough from me. Sit back, relax, enjoy from Dr. Naoto.
All right, what's up, everyone? We're here with Naoto from Trackstat. What's going on, my man? How are you today?
It's going. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Hey, we're stoked that you're a part of this Chiro AI Summit. We wanted to jump on a couple minutes before you showed us exactly what you're doing on the inside of Trackstat. So give us kind of like the 2-minute flyover view of what Trackstat is and the major problem that you guys are solving using AI for us as chiropractors right now.
Essentially, we're an AI automation suite for chiropractic EHRs. So EHR, like ChiroTouch, Jane, anything like that, it's just a bunch of static data. And if you want to take action on it, you have to run a report, print it off, hand it off to Tiffany, and then Tiffany has to take action on it. So what we do is we take action on that data. So we have like kind of 3 things that we do. First thing we do is we'll do automation first. Now we're adding in more AI. I would love to say that everyone responds from an AI call or an AI text. That's great, but they don't. So then we give you a workflow of people that have not responded, where you could text, email, schedule, set a follow-up, make notes that all sync with your EHR. And then the third piece of that is accountability. So like if we're talking about a missed appointment, the percentage of people that have been rescheduled. No one's ever going to get 100% of the front desk, but you're going to find your normals. So let's just say it's 30%, 30 to 40%. And then all of a sudden you get someone that gets 60% rescheduled. You say, WTF, what are they doing right? What are they saying? How are they doing it? And now that's your new SOP. Or let's say it drops down to 10%. Then you say, WTF, what are they doing? And that's a training opportunity.
If you guys haven't figured out, Naoto's like one of the smartest dudes in all of the world of chiropractic, because that was like 7 things at one time. I love it, man. Before you jump in and show us this, guys, if you haven't heard of Trackstat, like first off, like the stuff he does, like this is just like a little sliver off the top of a mountain of things that he does. It is literally one of the fastest growing companies inside of chiropractic right now. So man, I'll tell you this, I know Naoto, and every time we get in a room together, there'll be 50 people talking. And as soon as this guy opens his mouth, everyone shuts up and everyone starts listening. So Naoto, you ready to take this away, my man?
Thank you. Look forward to doing the presentation.
All right, here we go.
Hey there, Naoto Hashimoto here, Dr. Hashimoto, chiropractor like you. AI is everywhere, but it's not always right. It's becoming ubiquitous, and you can't really go to any website, anywhere. You hear about it at conferences, and are you really leveraging it? And is AI all-knowing? So despite its prevalence, AI can actually be wrong, can hallucinate is what they call it. And then human oversight and accountability are essential to maximize the benefit. Building out certain things with AI can seem easy, like vibe coding is something you might see on YouTube and see some influencers talking about vibe coding. That's essentially where you're using AI to write a bunch of code. But if you don't know what good code looks like, it's not going to be very useful. So you do need to know what good looks like, and you do need to have some form of oversight. I don't think AI is going to replace everyone. It's just going to take smart people and make them 10 to 100 times more efficient. So let's talk about what we're going to cover today. So today we're going to be going over AI automation and how it enhances efficiency and productivity. We're going to talk about smart workflows, streamlined for business operations, and we're going to talk about accountability. So let's talk about Trackstat's process. So Trackstat, I think AI and automation are amazing, but they can't do everything. So we have a 3-part formula to that, what we're going to talk about here. So AI enhances efficiency, but it does require human oversight for accuracy and also catching ones that haven't responded. So a combination of AI and automation plus workflows plus accountability is going to give you your best results. And it's going to give you predictable profits, essentially a steady stream of patient visits while reducing your operating costs. Trackstat leverages the synergy of all of this. So let me just talk about this here in this quick little video. So dashboards, analytics, that stuff's great, but what do the numbers mean? And if the numbers are down, what do you do about it? So let's just go over this little video right here. So over here, got a dashboard, you got metrics, like for example, you got scheduling health over here. So you can see kind of like how many visits are scheduled out over the next 30 days. You have visits scheduled now, plus automations and workflows following up with, say, for example, someone that's missed an appointment. So right here, what we like to do is automation plus a workflow. So if someone misses an appointment, like it's happened probably in your office and every single office, we'll automatically engage with the patient via text, engage with the patient again using AI and automation. I'd love to tell you that everyone responds to that, but for the ones that do respond, great. We'll take those, the low-hanging fruit, and get them scheduled. But for the ones that don't, we'll give you a workflow. And then with a workflow, we make it easy for you to be able to text, email, schedule, set a note, make a follow-up, all from one spot where you have easy to use templated messages, spots to put notes, spots to schedule appointments. So you don't have to go back into the EHR, type in the name and schedule an appointment. You even invoice a patient right from here and have it post back to your EHR. So what we're doing is we're taking a simple repetitive activity that happens in every office and creating a workflow. So we have an accountability metric, like a rescheduling rate. So it's automation, workflow, plus accountability. And that is really the formula that we follow for everything. Now, when it comes to modern marketing, speed to lead is going to be important. So a lot of times if you get a lead that opts in, especially from social media, if you don't get a hold of them right away, they're not even going to remember. You got to realize that when someone's sitting around on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or any other kind of social media, they're not looking for a solution. They're flipping through their phone looking for entertainment. They put in their information, and then they did this on a Friday night. You follow up with them Tuesday or Wednesday. They don't even know who you are. So speed to lead is going to be important. Text, email, and getting a hold of them within minutes. And then when it comes to automation, right, you could do marketing math, return on advertising spend. So that would be getting the amount that you collected from that new patient set divided by your advertising spend. And if you're 100%, you're in trouble. Obviously, you want it to be 200, 300% because you want to get it 2 or 3 times return on your marketing spend. And then we could talk about retention, right? So you might be getting a lot of leads, but you might not be keeping them. So retention is going to be important. You want to find out how many people made it to the first, the second, the third. And one of the ways that you're going to improve patient retention is advanced scheduling. That means scheduling out patients for 2 weeks at a time, 4 weeks at a time, 6 months at a time, whatever works for you. We personally did 1 month at a time. I felt like having your calendar organized for the next 30 days is a reasonable thing to ask. If you ask me to book appointments out, for the next 6 months, it's going to be a little harder for me, but next 30 days is going to be relatively easy for me. And then, we'll do patient drop-off analysis. I'll show you exactly where the leaks are in your buckets. Now, frontline, right? So frontline messaging, a lot of people in the US and Canada and other places, texting is easy. So calling, texting, emailing, but text is going to be a preferred method of communication for a lot of people because it's easy to communicate even if they're busy at work. And then so two-way texting and using AI with two-way texting is going to be important. And it's also important for engaging with leads, especially when they opt in. And if you do some kind of automation and AI communication via text, you're going to reduce the workload by the frontline staff. Maybe if your frontline people only have to engage with some people, they could actually work on back office stuff like hooking people up to roller tables, decompressions, doing laser, teaching it, giving someone an office tour. So there's a lot of things that you still need humans to do. So AI can miss. So not everyone responds to AI. AI is going to do a pretty good job of responding and use some kind of conversation and remembering what was said last, but they're not going to always remember that someone was not in the office because they got a hip replacement or their spouse got a hip replacement or their mother got a hip replacement. And that's why they were MIA, because they had that conversation with a human in the office and maybe that wasn't documented in the patient notes or in the text thread. So combining AI automation with human follow-up, that's going to improve your results. And it's going to give you a balance of automation and accountability for better outcomes. Now let's talk about missed calls. We all miss phone calls. Sometimes they're spam calls. Sometimes they're sales calls. Sometimes it's a patient that calls, doesn't leave a message, and calls again until they get through. But some of them are actual new patients, and some of them are old patients trying to get back in. So there is a significant financial loss when you do miss a phone call. Let's just say it was a new patient. Was that $500, $1,500, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000? Who knows? You don't know unless you pick up the phone and get them scheduled. Call centers are great, but not everyone leaves messages with call centers. A lot of times, at least I know that when I leave a message at a call center, sometimes it doesn't always make it through. Plus, they're expensive and they don't book. They just take a message, and most of the time they don't schedule right on your calendar. So it's really an expensive task manager. How are calls placed on the schedule? So this is our missed call text feature that we use. Phone rings. Normally it would hit a voicemail for your office, but what happens over here is phone rings, you don't answer it, it'll hit a Trackstat voicemail, we'll transcribe that audio, and then we'll also do an automated text response. There's also AI receptionists. If you don't answer the phone and go to an AI receptionist, maybe they have simple questions like, do you take Blue Cross? Do you take Medicare? Do you treat kids? Do you treat hip pain? Do you treat shoulder pain? Maybe they're just calling to schedule an appointment, change an appointment. And maybe they have a billing issue that you don't want AI handling because maybe you're worried that they might say something that you don't want them to say. So connecting with a team member, maybe about an account, a receivable. Let's talk about marketing math for a minute. With marketing math, return by advertising source, looking at dollar per visit and continuing with better outcomes. You could have custom made dashboards
going over your return on investment or your return on ad spend. It requires tracking data that's in your EHR, EMR, along with data that lives in another source. You may want to track how many new patients came from a source, how much revenue you got from a specific source, what was your investment in the specific source. This example just shows Facebook, but you may have direct mail, TV, maybe even spinal screenings, and you're paying an outside marketing person. So that's why we have a manual entry point. And then this is a calculation for return on ad spend. If you included the service fee, that would be a return on investment. You're getting your revenue collected divided by your expense. If it's at 100%, that's a 1-to-1. If it's 200%, then you're getting a 2-to-1 return. It's a very simple calculation, and this can be automated.
Let's talk about the 80-20 rule with automation. With automation, you want to handle routine tasks. I always start with low-value repetitive tasks and work my way up. If you have something that doesn't occur that often, but it's a high-value task, maybe it's going to be a human activity. But automating the busy work is what you want to do, and have humans focus on the high-value things that require judgment. AI is getting better, and maybe at a certain point, we're going to just let that self-correct and make all the judgments, but I don't think it's really quite at that point for your practice. So automation is going to free time for strategic and creative work, or maybe improving your AI workflows. Integrating AI with human oversight drives business success. Smart identification is a perfect thing that AI is great for. So over here, we'll do a recall score. So we'll look at patients' past scheduling habits and past payment habits. And then based on that, if you look at a recall list, we'd put better ones at the top, worse ones at the bottom. Rather than most EHRs, actually all EHRs that I've seen to date, it's going to just give you a list. And so you might have someone at the top that came in for a free cup of coffee 6 months ago, and someone at the bottom of the list that's been a great patient, but they just had a life event happen. Maybe they had a spouse that had cancer and they went MIA because they were taking care of that spouse through their cancer treatment, and they just haven't been able to make it in for their treatments. So you don't know everyone's life situation. So that's why we like our recall score, and it makes it really easy for your team to identify the ones that they should reach out to today. We'll also have automations for this as well too. And then workflows. So with the workflows, essentially we focus on 3 different areas: getting more new people through the door, getting them to finish their treatment plans, and getting them to stay longer, and identifying the gaps. So one of the ways that we'd identify the gaps is with patient drop-off analysis. You could take a look right here, and you can see between visits 5 and 10, there's going to be a drop-off in visits. Instead of going from 100% make it here, 95% make it here, 70% make it here, but then there's a big drop-off, that fixing it between 5 and 10 is going to be a big drop off point. Maybe you also decide to start working on between visits 2 and 5 because it's a little bit of a drop off right there too. But once you know your patient drop off analysis, you can start fixing things. And a lot of times I would love to tell you that we could flip on an AI and automation switch and fix it. A lot of times it's going to be your consultation, your second visit, your third visit, and your table talk conversations. Maybe a light mini re-exam before your actual re-exam. And then, yes, of course, you're going to do some automations, AI, and some education. AI can't fix everything in your practice, but it does help identify where the leaks are in your practice. You want to attract more patients? Well, you can start by getting more reviews because humans are still looking online. Humans are looking at reviews. And then if you want more AI to find you, you want to start getting some of these reviews and actually placing the text on your website, because last time I checked, AI isn't going to be querying all the Google reviews for you. And then you also want to start getting Yelp reviews. You want to start getting Facebook reviews, and you want to start making it easier for AI to find your practice because more and more people are starting to search. And the conversion rate from a recommendation based on AI, whether it's Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, Meta, X, or any one of those things, I think last time I checked, 10 to 40 times more likely to convert. Now, using AI and automation for intake forms, that's also another great place to start. You could automatically send out paperwork to patients. They'd be able to fill it out. This cuts down on human time in the office, so they could quickly come in here, fill out the paperwork, consents, filling in all this information, and then you could actually use AI to take this information and turn it into your subjective note and put it right into your note. And then there's a number of different EHRs that are using ambient scribes, which means that they'll listen to your conversation and generate a subjective note, as well as correcting your note from things that are missing in there. And then in general, with your paperwork, my recommendation is someone should be able to fill it out in less than 10 minutes on their smartphone. If it takes them 30 minutes to fill out your paperwork, I honestly think it's too long. If you're some kind of a specialist that requires a lot more stuff and people are waiting months and months to get in to see you, I get it. Maybe they're willing to do it, but if they can't tell the difference between you and another chiropractor down the street, you do want to make it easy. And then once the paperwork is submitted, you want to make it easy for them to find it. Paperwork would look something like this. And then you could take this paperwork and then just run it through some kind of an AI tool. Two-way communication, a lot of times it is going to be run by a human, but more and more people are going to end up trusting AI. As AI gets a little bit more trust, they'll probably let the AI handle all the two-way communication, taking humans out of the process. But in the meantime, just making it really easy for them to text back and forth with people. So two-way texting with your business number, people are still used to that kind of stuff. And then just having easy to use templates make it really easy for someone to schedule or just communicate or reschedule an appointment. AI is great, but so is simple to use workflows. And the ability to schedule, reschedule, and edit appointments. You could also communicate with the mobile app. You could use automation to educate your patients of different services. You could use them for referrals. You could do shareable, referable content. So you can make emails, texts, and videos that go to your patients and make it easy for them to forward and share that with people. You could also use it for patient retention. You could also do automated reactivations for people that have been out of the office for a period of time, engaging with them, making it easy for them to click a link and then reschedule an appointment. You can also use it for automation to kind of like query a lot of different information and make it really easy to do a pre-shift huddle. So you can see all the people coming in today that owe money, that don't have a next visit, that are not pre-scheduled, or maybe they need to be scheduled for a re-exam because they've missed that. You also want to do some analog follow-up. So analog follow-up is there's some people that maybe you just want to add to a special list and follow up with them with just very human-like things like how's your mom doing? How's your husband doing? How are your kids doing? Because AI is great, but it doesn't know everything about the patient. Treatment plan tracking where they are they pre-scheduled out for all their visits? When's their next re-exam? Have they had a re-exam scheduled? Do they even have any re-exams done? So treatment plan tracking is going to be really important. We also focus on the 5 profit levers, which is selling for more, increasing what you collect per visit, selling more often, increasing your office visits. That's by attracting more new ones, getting them to finish their care plans, going into maintenance care, increasing your visits, while reducing your operating costs, reducing your accounts receivable, and actually freeing you up to finish your projects. So here's a case study of transforming your practice. So over here is someone that actually started using some of these automation processes with Trackstat and started increasing their office visits by attracting more new patients and getting them to start and finish a care plan and eventually start increasing their office visits. And let's just say you collect $50, $60, $80, $100 a visit. So this particular case, I think they were collecting $80 a visit. I can't quite remember the number, but it was a dramatic increase in revenue per week for this practice, and it made a world of a difference. When you have automated scheduling, you still need to set rules for the AI to follow. What we'll always do is we'll talk with a provider or talk with a manager of an office, find out how they want the appointments to make it on the calendar, what kind of rules they want to follow. And then based on that, we tell the AI and tell automation on how they want people placed on the schedule. Easier reporting, that's not quite AI, but that's going to be automation. Getting your metrics in real time is going to be important. And then just access on your mobile phone. Not all of us are glued to a computer screen. So mobile apps for patients, mobile apps for your team members. So you want to make it easy for your patients to manage their own appointments. You also want to make it easy for you or team members to manage conversations with patients, schedule patients while they're out at a spinal screening, or maybe you're watching Netflix on the couch and someone's trying to reschedule and you feel like handling it yourself rather than letting automation handle it for you. Another thing that automation is really great for is interconnecting different kinds of data. So one of the things that we'll do is connect popular software together. So we'll take your EHR, marry it with something called Go High Level, which is a popular white label software, along with our software, along with payment processors popular in chiropractic, along with intake forms popular in chiropractic. And we're only continuing to add more and more integrations. So now you have a choice. You could continue on with manual labor, running reports, doing things when you have air quotes downtime, or using more automation or AI. Trackstat provides a clear direction. It's an AI automation suite first. It lets you know what to focus on with your workflows and provides accountability. It replaces your generic appointment reminder and texting apps with Trackstat. And we also do a free trial so you could watch your practice collections grow. Right here, we have a QR code. All you have to do is scan it, click watch demo, and then right there, you could book a demo. And we'd love to talk to you on the other side, find out what problems you're having, and help you solve that with AI and automation. This is Naoto Hashimoto signing off. Thanks for listening to this presentation.
If you want the best deals on products and services, along with some of the best speakers in chiropractic, you're going to want to register for our next summit coming up soon. Click on down below and register today.